solving some problems. So the list is endless, but the gains are immeasurable. For example, when we have such interactions, we're able to gain valuable interactions and insights, which can contribute to developing and progressing the society. So particularly today, I'm going to look at youth and public engagement. So I will share some of my personal experiences, and I will start with the experiences I had in Nigeria before I started my PhD in the UK. And I would like to start with APWEN. I don't know, for those of you who do not know APWEN, it's simply the Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria. And I was very active in APWEN before I left Nigeria, and we had so many programs targeted at girls, and all we wanted to do was to encourage more girls to come into engineering. And so these are some of the activities we had then. We had this competition for secondary school students to, it was titled "Who Wants to Be an Engineer?" It was a competition, and there were winners. Also, we had this event, Invent It, Build It, and the winners were given scholarships, even up to university level. That was very, very interesting. Then we've also organized quiz competitions. We've had public campaigns towards engineering for girls. And also at times, we've recognized women and girls who have excelled in professions that are regarded to be exclusively for men. So these are some of the things we did then, and APWEN is still progressing in this line. In fact, they are doing very, very commendable things now, events and activities. So that was. So now I will now go on to talk about some of my engagement, the opportunities I had to engage with some organizations in the UK. I'll start with the Warwick Institute of Engagement. That is my university. That's situated in my university. And they have this program they call the Resonate Festival. And it was annually the team, the Warwick Institute of Engagement, they have a year-round program of events which caters for every age group. You have kids, so it's a wider scope. They have a wider scope, and it's also all about public engagement. So the Resonate Festival was organized in April and was organized around health-related research themes. We featured several activities like games, we had challenges, and we had events celebrating health and well-being for kids or youth between 11 and 16 years of age. Here we can see some pictures of what we did. Here you can see this little guy. He's wearing a virtual reality goggle. He's all in a world of his own, figuring out things on his own. So what we tried to do was to make the activities as relatable and exciting as possible. Here we also had a theme on games. I know a lot of Nigerian parents may not like their children playing games and all that, but there's a good side to it. You can actually get kids involved in game development, and that was what we wanted to feature. There's also the theme on food. We explored emotions that people had, the kids. You can see here I am here. You can see the yellow arrow, talking to this kid about some of his emotions about food. For example, if he was feeling hungry, what would his emotions be? And then we had themes on app development. And well, the kids weren't interested in the code. They wanted to see what the apps could do. And also a challenge. You can see some bicycles here. This is all part of the research that people had done at Warwick. The bicycle has a smoothie blender. So the harder you paddle on the bicycle, then, and we had winners and they got gifts. So these were some of the activities we had then. Then I'll move on to another event. This is a hackathon event. For those of us who do not know, a hackathon is an event where a large number of people come together to code. So what happens is that we have sponsors for these events. It could be companies, it could be organizations, or it could even be research institutes who have problems that they want to solve. And they will normally put up projects and gather all these people together to solve the project. So that's basically what a hackathon is. So the name of this event was a Hack the Midlands Hackathon, and it was a 48-hour event during which people who were aged 14 and above came together to share their ideas and their skills. And something to note was that it wasn't really something that you don't need to be a professional or a student. Anybody who just has a basic interest in coding could come, even if you can't code. So it was really very good. We had over 200 participants, and these are some pictures here. You may not see them clearly, but there were teams that were created to actually target certain projects. So there are a few basic things I would like us to note here. For example, if you ask somebody who would like to get engaged in this kind of activity, you would actually need a computer and internet access. And I know, and also a stable means of power supply because it is Nigeria. Also, you don't necessarily need to know how to code. You just need to have the interest. If you were to join one of the sessions, there will be mentors and other participants who can help, especially if you are able to form a team with other people. And depending on your interest, it could be software, it could be hardware, that there are opportunities to exhibit talents in these areas. One thing I would note here is that for those who organize this program, for the organizers, there's usually a need for sponsors. And these are usually obtained from industries and companies, and because there's a need for funding. And the very good part of the hackathon events that is usually organized, that there is a monetary reward for the winners. There are winners and there are losers. If it's not monetary, there are usually some other very good perks to give to winners. So for some of you out there who might be interested, for the 2023 season, I've provided a link here, which you could quickly copy, that you can just try to explore all the types of hacker events that are available in 2023. Many of them are face-to-face, which you may not have the opportunity to attend, but also a lot of them are online. So it's a good opportunity to explore some of these things. Now, finally, the last project I will talk about that I participated in is I collaborated with an organization called the Blair Project. So what they do is that to grow them in the art of becoming innovators, technicians, engineers, entrepreneurs in STEM fields. So and they focus a lot on people who are marginalized, and they help them to discover what their talents are. So going forward, what I did specifically with them was that I partnered with them on producing short TikTok videos on science topics, which kids will find very, very interesting, or even someone who has no knowledge of science, or maybe if you are interested, you can go to the link at the top of this slide and explore more. There are other topics that are there that you can explore. So let me just play this so that we can see. Let's investigate static electricity. We will need a balloon, scissors, and paper. First, blow up the balloon. Cut up little pieces of paper. Rub the balloon on your hair or clothes to create static electricity. The balloon is negatively charged. The paper is positively charged, so they attract. So really, it's as simple as that. That's just a short video, one of the short videos that I did on static electricity. These are ways that kids can learn, even youths and people who have little knowledge of science. So going on from there, I will just summarize all I've said today. I've given examples of my personal experience of engagement with youths and the public. And I would say that these are not just the only things that are out there. There are lots of other examples that you can get engaged with. For example, you can become a mentor. You can mentor somebody older than you. You can mentor somebody younger than you. what you need to have is something that you are giving to the other person.
Engineer Rossi, I'd like to cut you there because we have a caller. Glory from Mowe. Hello, Glory.
No, Glory, it is Grace.
Okay, Grace, how are you?
I'm fine, sir.
How is Mowe today?
Mowe is fine, sir.
All right, you want to ask my guest a question or you want to answer our question?
I want to ask the guest a question and I want to answer the question.
Please go ahead.
I want to ask that how can you participate in the event, that coding event?
Coding event, okay. She will answer a question in a moment.
And the answer to the question is 32 grams.
Okay. All right. Grace, I'll let you know if you are correct or not. Great.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll let you know if you are correct. Great. Thank you so much.
Yes.
All right. Engineer Rossi, while you are trying to summarize, Great wants to know the coding engagement that you spoke about earlier. How can he participate?
Well, I will just go back to that. So this one is already done. We finished with it. But if Grace, right? If Grace is listening to this event, she can copy this link here. So HTTPS. This is the. If you copy this link, it will lead you to a page where there are a lot of coding events like this type that we did that are there. So you can look at all of them. You can look at what they want to achieve, their focus, their objectives, and then you can see the one that is for you, the one that you can get interested in. And if it's online, it's even better because you don't need to go anywhere. You can sit in your house and register for whichever one you're interested in, and then you can become a participant in such a thing. But this one, we did it in the UK, and it was a face-to-face event, so you might not be able to participate in such. But if you go to the link that I provided here, you will see a lot of such events there, and you can look at them and see which one you can participate in if you are interested. I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, you've done that. You can go ahead with your presentation.
Okay, so I was just summarizing. So like I've given examples of my personal experience of engagement with the youths and the public. And I'm saying that these are not just the limits. So there are other things you can do. You can become a mentor. The important thing for you to have is to have knowledge. Maybe you want a knowledge somebody doesn't have. You can mentor them because they don't have what you have. You can share your research, especially if you're in academia with school children in interesting ways. You can provide skills training, especially professionals who have certain skills that other people don't have. You can source for funds and set up training programs. So these are some of the other ways that we can go into engagement. And a core thing I would note here is that in STEM fields, there is a need to intensify industrial partnerships because most of these events I'm talking about, they are funded. And you need corporations who are willing to, we can talk to, we network with those organizations to fund such events. So there's a need for a lot more of this to happen. So having said this, all I'm just saying is get involved. Thank you. So if you want to contact me, that's my email address. So that's the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Rossi. I'm sure some of our young viewers at home would take advantage of that email that you made available to contact you and ask one or two questions. But before then, I would like to ask some questions on your presentation for today. STEM is one thing that young people, especially in Nigeria, are shying away from. And that is why this program is coming on air every Friday to encourage them to go into STEM. Now, how else do you think that the young ones can be encouraged to go into STEM? Because it seems as though it's more like a big deal, a big subject, a big course that they want to avoid by all means.
Well, I think one of the most important things is to have role models. You know, in the film industry, we have models, people that people follow in the music industry. So what we need to encourage young people is to see people doing well in engineering, to know that if they follow this path, they can make it. It's something that is rewarding. So I think that's what young people need to see more, because they see their film idols and all that. They're making it. They have the money. But you know, when it comes to areas like engineering, you do all the work and it seems the money is not coming in. So there is a lot that the government needs to do.
We have another caller. I would like to cut you a little bit. Glory from Moe. Hello. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
What question of the day?
You said?
I want to answer the question of the day.
All right, please go ahead, Glory.
That the answer is 32 in molecule.
32. All right. I'll let you know if you are
correct. I want to ask a question.
Okay,
can I join
please.
if I'm under 14?
Can what?
Can I join if I'm under 14?
Can you join the engagement if you are under 14? All right. My guest will answer your question. All right.
Yes, sir.
What did you say, Glory?
Happy New Year in arrest, sir.
Thank you so much. Happy New Year to Glory. Now, Engineer, he wants to know if he can join the engagement you spoke about earlier on, before age of 14.
Oh, you mean the program that I talked about?
The coding.
Yeah, I mean, well, that one is specifically for people from 14 and above, but there will be others that it depends on the specification. So what to do would be to look at what is obtainable. Like if she goes to that link that I gave, she can look at the age specifications and see which ones is fitting for her age. But if she doesn't go, if she's not starting to engage with such events, she can begin to build up herself for a future opportunity and start coding. And there are a lot of resources online, especially if it is Python. Python is the in thing now when we are talking about software development. So you can start, Glory, you can start developing yourself in this. Take the advantage of all the free resources that are online in Python, so that, well, if you don't get one that is below, 14 years of age, then when you get to that age, you really have something to offer, and you can possibly win a prize.
Okay, it seems as though my audience are interested in the coding thing. What are the subjects to offer? Is there any subject restriction to learning to start coding?
For coding, actually, you can start learning coding without even being in school if you are interested. Because if you go online, for example, if you go on YouTube or you go on Google, especially if it's a free software like Python, you have a lot of resources. There are some that might demand something, but majorly because that's the way the software has been built to be free, so that people can have access to it. So you don't even need any particular subject. Even if there are some technicality, there are things you can read up. So, but basically, because now we have people who are not even in STEM, who are coding, people in business, people they are into AI development for the stuff that they do. So it's applicable across board. So I cannot say, oh, you have to do chemistry before you can code. No, you just have the interest. If you have the interest, that's the first thing you need, and you've already started. And
okay, and we have to go. In 30 seconds. This program is sponsored by Prince Engineering Shillong, and the objective, like you know, is to encourage young people. How do you assess his sponsorship and the content of the program?
I think it's a very, very good program because youths must be encouraged to go into engineering. That and any related in the STEM field, that's where the world is going. If we have some hope in Nigeria, this is the way to go, so that we can begin to do things that we can sell to the world too. So I really want to really appreciate the sponsor of this program. It's an excellent program. All I want is that if you can expand the scope so that people can really be aware that this program is on, and we can get youths to actually watch it and to gain something from it.
All right, from UK, that's Engineer Busola Oronti. Thank you so much for all you've done for us today on this program.
And thank you too.
All right, and thank you so much for watching this edition. For today, we have no winner. The answer for our question is 16, and Grace and Glory from Mowe, you didn't get our question correctly. But for the question for the week, you have opportunity of getting that correctly. What is the formula for hydrosulfuric acid? You can get that, drop it on our Facebook page, Instagram page, and probably on YouTube. And if you get it correctly, you get our prize, courtesy of our sponsor, Prince Ejina James Shidon. Next week is another time, and I'll be coming your way by God's grace with another guest to discuss something else that will stir you up to study engineering. My name is Tunde Olaniro. Until then, bye-bye.